You are listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast. This is the place where content creators come to learn how to create profitable content that positions themselves as an authority and grows their online businesses. Get ready to take your content to a whole new level with your host, Kristen Poborsky.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I build AI business teams for entrepreneurs. And recently, I found a bottleneck inside my own AI business team. You can always see what everyone else's problem is before you can see your own. And that's me. I've been helping coaches, consultants, and course creators build AI systems and AI business teams that actually work. Real agents, real workflows, real stuff that runs in the background while they get to focus on what they love. And my own AI business team, it's working mostly, but there was one place where things were getting stuck. And when I finally spotted it, it was so obvious I had to come here and talk about it because it's something that I believe anybody using AI, whether or not you've got an AI business team, you're using it to prompt, to just have a conversation, or you've got your own agents built. So if you're using it right now and your results are feeling a little off, like mine were, not quite right, not quite you, this might be exactly what's happening to you that was happening to me as well. I've been in the AI and information space long enough to know that the tool isn't usually the problem. The setup isn't usually the problem. It's mostly the input. It's what you bring to the AI to work with, right? That's why we always teach it our voice and how we work, what our methods are, who our client is, all of that. But you think it's not just that either sometimes. What you bring to what you give it to work with, that context, the stuff that you're putting in the prompt, I found a specific place in my own workflow where my input was getting cut in half before it even reached my agent. So today I'm going to walk you through the whole framework for finding what I call sticky in a business, to take you inside how my AI business team is structured, to show you exactly where that gap showed up for me, and a specific tool, Whisperflow, that fixed it. And by the end of today, of listening to this, you'll know how to spot this in your own workflow and have a practical way to fix it. So let's talk about that concept that I use to drive everything I build, okay? I call this thing, it's my 10 to 2 life. The idea is simple behind it. I really want to have a business and build businesses not just for me, but for my client that doesn't ask everything of me. I want to show up. I want to do focus work that matters, and then go and live my life, not hustle from 6 a.m. to midnight, not be the thing that the whole machine depends upon. That's the goal. And building towards it, and it's an ongoing process, means I'm constantly running one check on my business. And that is looking and seeing, where is it sticky? So sticky to me is any place where something gets slowed down because of a single person, a process, or a tool, where the flow stops or slows down, where you become the only way through. I call that a bottleneck. It could be a team member who's become a bottleneck. It could be a process that only you know how to run, a tool that isn't talking to another tool, a piece of knowledge that lives only inside your head and not out where it should be so that your tools can have access to it or your team. So the moment I see something sticky, I'm already thinking, how do I fix this? How do I get this knowledge out and into a system? How do I build something that flows without me having to push it? Here's a concrete example of a sticky that I solved a while back. See, a lot of what made my business work, my frameworks, my way of thinking through client problems, my voice, my process, it only lived in my head. And that's sticky. Because if I want to hand something off to someone on my team, bring in a team member, or train an AI agent to help me, none of that can happen if all of it is still inside my head and has no way out. That's one of the core reasons I built an AI business team, to get that knowledge out, to put it into context, to make it work without having to be there in the room running it every single time. And that system, it works well. My clients are building AI teams using the same system, but here's the thing I didn't catch right away. The sticky I had found inside my AI business team wasn't in the system. It wasn't what I was feeding it. And to explain what I really mean, let me show you exactly how an AI team is built. So it's basically a set of specialized agents. Each one has a specific job. And inside some of those agents are multiple prompts, multiple things that it does inside of that. Each one, it has all my voice baked in, my frameworks, my ways of explaining things. They don't just know what I do. They know how I do it, why I do it, and how I talk about it, my decision frameworks, all that stuff. I have a content agent, a webinar agent. It's a whole team of agents, a client delivery agent, and an agent that helps me build and deliver course materials. Those are just a small fraction of what I have running in the background, helping me run my business. And when I work with them, it's not just write me an email. It's a real back and forth. I bring the thinking, the context, the story, what I want to tell, the specific angle for this particular piece of content or this client's situation. The agent is designed to bring the structure, the speed, and the consistency. So let's say I'm working on an email sequence for a webinar replay. That webinar email agent knows my voice. It knows how I structure follow-up sequences. It knows what kind of stories I tend to tell and how I like to close. But, and this is key, it only knows what I give it in that moment. So if I give it a thin, rushed prompt or description that I'm typing in that conversation, it fills in the gaps with something that's kind of like me. But if I give it the full picture, the specific feeling I want to each email to land on, the exact story from the webinar I want to reference, the energy I want the whole sequence to carry, that's when it gives me something that actually converts and sounds like me. The agent ceiling is set by the quality of what I bring into it. So when I started seeing some output recently that felt a little bit flat, a little templated, I started asking myself, what am I bringing in? And that's when I found it. The sticky was my input. And specifically, it's not what you think. It was the typing. And you're probably wondering what heck? Typing? Okay, let me give you a little background. I'm a really fast typist. I took typing in before typing was a thing, before keyboards were a thing. It was way back when we just had typewriters. I've been typing a long time, and I'm pretty darn good at it. But here's what I noticed. When I type, something happens between my head and what happens at my fingertips and goes into the prompt box. My brain, it edits on the way out. It filters, it abbreviates, it cuts things short. I'll have a full story in my brain, in my mind, something specific that happened in a client session or exact feeling that I want to create in an email. I have a hard time downloading it from my brain to my figures. And what comes out in the type prompt is a summary, a sketch, not the real thing that I have going on in my mind. And for AI, that matters a lot. Context, it's everything. The more richer and specific the input, the more you actually give it, it actually sounds better on the other side. And for typing, for me, was cutting my context in half. before my agent saw it. I started experimenting with that built-in microphone. A lot of people are probably using that, and right away, I noticed a difference. So when I spoke instead of typed, the context was richer, fuller. It was downloading from my brain. I told stories, I added detail, I gave examples I would have left out if I was typing. My agent started getting the full version of what I was thinking and downloading from my expertise, and the output, it started reflecting that. That was already a big shift. But the built-in mics had a limit. It only worked inside a Claude, and if I wanted to give a long stream of thinking, a real download, the kind I do before a big project, I'd hit a wall. And that's when I discovered Whisperflow. Now, this is not meant to be an affiliate. I don't have an affiliate, but I'm here to share with you how this changed what I was doing. It's basically a voice-to-text tool that lives across your entire computer, not inside one app, but everywhere. Any text field, any platform, any tool. You set a hotkey, you click on it, you talk, and the words appear where your cursor is. So now, when I want to brief that webinar email agent or start a content prop or work through something for a client, I talk instead of typing. The whole thing, the context, the stories, the background, the tone, the specific details that would never survive the trip through my fingers, all of it goes in. And when your brain and AI are having a real conversation instead of a typed transaction, everything your AI gives you back is different. Now, let me show you I'm going to share exactly how I used it just the other day and give you just a quick how to set it up, okay? So here's a story that made this all land for me. I was building a follow-up email sequence for a webinar replay. And this is real work I was doing with my AI business team, specifically the email agent for my webinar on my webinar team. Before Whisperflow, the process, it looked like this. Sit down, upload the transcript, type out what I wanted, try to capture the context in a few sentences, and wait and see what came back. It was a lot of work. What came back it was usable, it was good. I got conversions from it. It was great, but it didn't quite have something. Something was missing. My agent was doing exactly what I missed, but the problem was that what I asked for, what I was giving it, was incomplete. Now, with Whisperflow, I just clicked that button, I sat down and talked. I talked about the webinar topic, whatever stream of consciousness came from me. I was in the flow with Whisperflow. I really was truly in the flow. And I talked about what I wanted people to feel when they opened each email. I talked about a specific moment where someone asked a question during the live session, a real moment that I knew I wanted to weave into the sequence. I talked about how I wanted that last email to feel different than the first. I talked about the whole thing like I was explaining it to a colleague. My agent, it listened perfectly and it got all of it. And what came back was the best email sequence I've gotten from that AI webinar assistant. My stories, my references, my specific languaging, not a polished piece version of something generic or written as a conversion copywriter, but more real to me and to my audience and to what my thought process was. So I'm going to just walk you through real quick how to get started. Go grab Whisperflow. Go to whisper.ai. Got that link right below. There's a free version that works on Mac and Windows. No complex setup, okay? Once it's installed, you're going to set your hotkey. Mine activates in just a second. under a second, and you'll do this once during setup and it becomes automatic. Then open your Claude, go to your project, and click into your prompt field. You got to click in there first, then hit your hotkey and start talking to it. Don't hold back. Talk for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes if your project calls for it. Tell the story, give the context, explain to the background, say the specific thing you'd normally cut out because it felt like too much to type. And here's what I want you to take away from beyond using this tool. Whisperflow works because of a principle. Your AI can only be as good as what you bring to it. Your knowledge, your voice, your stories, your experience, that's the thing that makes AI output worth anything. That's what separates from sounds like AI, but it too sounds like me. And the most of the gap is not that the people are using the wrong tool. It's how much of themselves they're actually getting into it. And that's where going from typing to voice to my download from my brain made all the difference for me. And I think it can for you. So the gap again isn't the tool. It's how much of yourself, how much of myself I'm actually getting into it. So get your voice in there. Get your voice, your stories in there. Stop filtering, stop typing. And look, if you try Whisperflow and it's not for you, there are other voice tools. The mic built into Claude is a real option. Maybe you want to start there. The principle, it's just the same. Stop typing your thoughts. Talk to them instead. So let's bring this all together for you. Sticky businesses slow you down. They're places where the flow stops and everything has to push through one point. I built my AI business team to fix sticky, to get my knowledge out there into a system, into a team that works without me pushing it every single minute. But I had a gap. I wasn't seeing my own input. It was getting filtered down to half of what it needed to be. And Whisperflow, combined with Claude, it fixed that. So now the output I'm getting from my business team is performing at a completely different level. And my interaction with it, way more, I would say, smooth, faster, at a whole different level because I'm able to get my thoughts quickly out there and succinctly to my AI assistant. It's how I shifted, how I brought my thoughts in. Instead of typing and being limited by that, everything just comes through me. So if you want to see that full AI business team system, the agents that I build, the workflows, how it all connects, I have something for you. It's called the AI Business Team Blueprint. It's the exact same framework I use and that I build out for my clients. Everything you need to start building an AI team that actually sounds like you, handles the work you shouldn't be doing, and helps you get closer to that 10-2 lifestyle. The link, it's right in the description, so go grab it. And if you want to see how I actually set up one of these agents from scratch or what it does, I have a video that walks through the whole thing. If you've got a brain full of knowledge, experience, and stories that no AI came preloaded with, stop letting your keyboard stand between all of that and the AI that's actually waiting for you to use it.
You've been listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, where content creators go to learn how to take their content creation to the next level. If you love the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. Until next time.